Okay, so don't go too crazy, but your Denver Nuggets are currently the 1 seed in the Western Conference. Even then, we're 11-6. We're not exactly setting the world on fire, so I think we need to take a closer look at the teams currently in this conference, and let's start with San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard's the real deal. He's their best player. Tim Duncan is no longer there, so he's had to take on the scoring load, and he's definitely doing it so far. And in a perfect world, if we see these guys in the postseason, I would want KJ McDaniels defending him most of the time, since KJ is our most athletic / best defender. However, I do fear that Kawhi could take KJ down into the post, and that's going to be a problem. And the other problem is, if Gallinari's in the game, at a certain point he's going to end up on Kawhi, and Gallinari can't even handle Harrison Barnes. Just imagine Leonard. That's scary. As for LaMarcus Aldridge, here's the one harsh reality about him. He's really frickin' tall, and as a result, our power forwards of Thad Young and Nigel Hayes, they might have some trouble against him. Now, on the flip side, however, I think LaMarcus Aldridge will have a tough time defending the Thad Young pick and roll or pick and pop, and Nigel Hayes getting open on the perimeter could be a problem for LaMarcus Aldridge as well. And not only that, but I do think at times we could just have Thon Maker on Aldridge, because it's not like Aldridge is a super mobile power forward. As for the point guard battle, I think we got that one. I don't see how Tony Parker can really handle Emmanuel Mudiay, because, I mean, can anybody stop Mudiay going to the basket? All the guy needs is one screen, and, I mean, he's gone. And if you think Tony Parker is going to meet Mudiay at about 15 feet and then actually stop him, is not going to happen. I think Mudiay can really clamp him up defensively as well. Speaking of Mudiay, he's not really in the MVP discussion at the moment because, I mean, he's not among the top 8 scorers in the league. He's actually like at 18 points per game right now, because I don't play every single game. As for the Rookie of the Year conversation, Thon Maker might not be the leader in points, but he is 5th down there at 14 points, 10 rebounds, and over 3 blocks a game, on top of us being 11-6. I'd say he's in the lead for Rookie of the Year at the moment, maybe Defensive Player of the Year as well. Now let's look at some of the bottom teams in the conference before we go back to the guys we actually have to deal with. What's wrong with the Houston Rockets? Well, James Harden, kind of similar to real life. His production is more than fine. Those percentages are not beautiful. And as for Dwight Howard, the rebound's a little down. The scoring's actually the highest it's been in a while. And for some reason, they have Brandon Jennings as their point guard, which is never a good thing, just because it's Brandon Jennings. As for the Clippers, what's going on, Blake Griffin? What, at 15 points, 8 rebounds? What is this? This is actually his worst season in the league. I don't know about that. Now let's look at Phoenix, who's a team that scares me for a few reasons. They acquired Nerlens Noel in the offseason, and the impact that he can make defensively as well as rebounding-wise, it's already showing, and I think we need to be able to get him out of the paint, and the way to do that is to have Thon Maker be able to stretch the floor, which he has not been too good at so far. I mean, it's been very short into the season, but I do think he can body Noel up a little bit on the block. And, I mean, to be honest, if it got really bad and we had to take Thon out, I do think Nurkic would be a fine center who could stretch the floor and get Nerlens Noel out of the paint so we could go inside. But obviously we want to go with Thon Maker first, of course. As for Phoenix on the backcourt, you know, I think Tony Parker would have a tough time against Mudiay. Eric Bledsoe, from a physical standpoint, he's not that far off from Mudiay, so I feel like that could be a challenge. I think our wings will have their hands full to stay and hold of Wesley Matthews. I also think that TJ Warren has grown into at least a serviceable NBA player. Like, you kind of have to plan for Markieff Morris defensively, because the guy can float around and hit jumpers and hit threes. As we know, we almost traded for the guy. And I do also think that Markieff Morris can defend our power forwards on screen and rolls a bit better. So I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm actually a little freaked out with Phoenix from a matchup perspective. I mean, of course, Brandon Knight's coming off the bench because of Wesley Matthews. Like, Phoenix kind of scares me, I'll be honest. But at the same time, I would say the talent difference in the West is not too drastic. As for Golden State, just look at this one clip right here. against them in Game 6. Does this happen if Thon Maker's in the game? Maybe not, and I think that was the difference between them beating us. And then, as for OKC, Westbrook and Durant have been fantastic, and of course they're going to be a tough series, but Enes Kanter's their starting center, and I just kind of feel like you can just run pick and rolls on that guy all day. So I'm not too terrified of OKC. I mean, I'm still scared of Durant and Westbrook, of course. So that's the Western Conference. We're atop of it somehow, and more gameplay coming soon.